You go to your screen. Jayashree, can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, can we start? What do you need to do? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. You all are awake.
多謝大家都打醒精神啊！
Yeah. Okay, so today we are going into, as you can see already on the screen, Vaishnava Apparat.
咁今日我哋講課咧講到就係愛是那嘅模範，咁大家面目都見到啊。
And I think many of you haven't been attending the classes. I'm not sure if you've been following online or what.
咁好多個在座啲，我唔知道有冇跟住喺網度有睇我哋個上課咁度，或者跟住我哋個課程咁樣嘅。
And if you haven't, then maybe you should. Otherwise, you're missing out on so many things.
咁如果你係冇喺網上嗰度睇過咧，最好你就係上翻網睇喺度。如果唔係咧，好多嘢你係睇漏咗喺度。
Okay. All right. So today's lesson, Vaishnava Aparad. First, we are going to understand what is the greatness of Vaishnava.
咁首先嚟講，我哋認識嚟講就係愛是那嘅偉大。
And the references you see in your book, your manual, is from Hari Bhakti Vilas.
咁我哋書入邊嗰度講到咧，就係從呢個哈利巴德比拉十邊嗰度引用出。
Okay. Now I have to see if this thing works or not. Okay. Yes, no, they shouldn't be seeing this. Okay. Okay, you got it. No, it's okay. So, as I mentioned, everything you're seeing in your book is from the Hari Bhakti Vilas written by Sanatana Goswami.
咁就好似我講過啦，而家書入邊所引用嗰啲就係喺哈利巴德比拉嗰入邊係引用出嚟㗎，咁係由Sanatana Goswami所寫。
Okay, so we will go through each one of them.
咁我哋係逐點睇。
Okay, the first one is devotees are having a very rare use of Kali.
咁第一嚟講就係哈利嘅奉獻者嚟講咧，係喺哈利年代嚟講係十分之罕有。
You can read from the thing. I think that they are not seeing the screen.
No, the screen is not projected. It's not shared.
Yeah, I did. It's yeah. Let's go back there. share this. Let's see. They can. So then it comes to this. And I can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't see my
Okay.
screen. No, something's wrong. We were doing it good. Okay, you need to stop video first. Stop. Share. Stop the recording. Okay, you brought it there, that's why. Okay.
You just want to present this moment.
Yeah. This is my logo. I think. The Zoom meeting is the second meeting. Okay. All right, no problem. As I mentioned again, I'm so sorry about this technical problem, but okay, so in general, you have a lot of difficulty find the Krishna devotees in this age.
咁一般嚟講咧，喺呢個年代咧，想揾到 Krishna 嘅奉獻者嚟講啦，係十分之困難。
Just like you take Hong Kong, for example, how many devotees are there who come to Krishna consciousness?
咁我就攞香港做個例子啦。咁香港嚟講，有幾多人嚟嘅廟宇嗰度成為奉獻者咧？
Right? You can see for yourself. It's very rare to see a devotee.
咁我哋可以自己親身都睇到啦。咁好少人，好罕有人成為奉獻者，好罕有。
So this statement is in Hari Bhakti Vilas. It is also in Padma Purana.
咁呢段文字嚟講咧，響哈利巴蒂裏邊拉上入邊啦，亦都響北麥本蘭啊。
Actually, I'm sorry, Garuda book.
呢個 Garuda 往世書入邊嗰個亦都有到。
So there it is said that even a devotee is far greater than even not the personalities who hold those positions, but rather more elevated than that position of Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva.
咁呢度提到如果奉獻者個身份地位嚟講咧，即係唔係話佢好似個地位嚟講係比 Lord Brahma 或者 Lord Shiva 係更加高喺度，而係嚟講佢一個唔係嗰個品質或者品格嚟講比 Lord Brahma 或者 Lord Shiva 更加高喺度，而係成為一個奉獻者嚟講嗰個身份嚟講係幾咁之高嘅。
Yeah. So when we come to associating with devotees, we should take it very seriously.
所以當我哋奉獻者聯誼嚟講咧，我哋應該好認真。
So fast. Sometimes it takes forever and I'm wondering what's happening. Okay, so yeah. So the position of a devotee compared to any other personalities within this material universe is always exalted.
咁奉獻者相比較呢宇宙入邊嘅其他人咧嚟講咧，相對嚟講係比一個係崇高啲。
So now that you know this fact, you need to actually look at yourself and see how you're treating the devotees you meet on a daily basis.
咁當我哋明白到呢個事實之後咧，我哋應該內心檢討一下喺度。咁我哋每一日嚟講，見到奉獻者嚟講，我哋係點樣係對待啲奉獻者嘅咧？
Do you see them as exalted or do you see them as another person?
咁當我哋見到奉獻者嚟講，我哋要對待啲奉獻者嚟講，哦，佢係一個好崇高嘅人物啦，或者當一個人嚟嘅啫。
Right? Think about this.
大家試下想一想，諗一諗。
Yeah. Obviously, we are all very young in our Krishna consciousness.
咁當然啦，我哋大家收集嘅嚟講都係好初階，係剛剛起步咯。
Therefore, we don't really recognize or appreciate this statement.
咁我哋唔會認識啦，好清楚咁認識，或者係好好咁樣係對待睇啲好認真咁睇呢啲文字。
But can we change the way we think?
咁事實上，我哋可唔可以將我哋呢種咁嘅諗法改變過嚟咧？
Yes or no?
可以定係唔可以？
Yeah. So then how to change?
咁我哋如果可以嘅話嚟講，我哋點樣將佢改變？點樣改變咧？
I think a lot of us take it very lightly. I didn't until I read this I didn't realize how fortunate we are to be associating with Vaishnava.
開頭我會係睇得好簡單咁重喺度對奉獻者嘅連結，但我當我睇完呢啲文字嚟講咧，我覺得嚟講我幾咁之幸運喺度，能夠有機會同奉獻者一齊。
So how would you change yourself?
我哋自己內心，我哋點樣係改變自己咧？
The respect,
尊敬，
What else?
仲有咧，
the love,
我愛
Love, show respect. Yeah.
啊，表達我哋嘅愛心，表達我哋嘅尊敬。
obeying what they actually ask us to do.
Okay, following the instructions.
跟隨佢哋嘅訓示。
You need to actually, very simply, you need to practice.
其實好簡單，就係要練習多啲練習。
Yeah. You know, this statement is very interesting for a beginner, but for someone who's practicing for a long time, it is a very strong statement. Yeah.
咁對一個初階修習者嚟講，覺得幾有趣喺度講啲嘢嚟講都我未聽過。但係對一個修習咗好耐嘅人嚟講咧，當佢睇到呢段文字嚟講係對一個當頭棒喝，係一個好強烈嘅感受嘅對佢。
For us to go back to Godhead, we need to actually change the way we are thinking.
咁當我哋真正想回歸神手嚟講咧，我哋要好好咁將我哋嘅念頭、我哋嘅諗法嚟講咧係改變過嚟。
Many of us have been conditioned, so we are stuck in a certain way of seeing one person or another person.
因為我哋受條件限制咁耐嚟講，變咗我哋係受條件限制睇人嚟講係睇一個人。
Okay, so therefore, knowing this nice statement from the Shastras, you should say, how am I going to change my life so that I can actually become a lover of Krishna as well as a lover of devotees.
咁當我哋睇完呢段文字之後嚟講，我哋應該要好好咁認真考慮，我點樣將自己改變過嚟，將自己係變成係 Krishna 嘅愛人啦，亦都係愛其他嘅奉獻者愛 Krishna。
Okay, so let's go to the next statement.
咁第二段文字
Yeah.
有問題。
The position of devotee is more elevated than position of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. So Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva both are the devotee of Lord Shiva.
Yeah, but we are talking about the position, we are not talking about the personality.
我講到話Lord Brahma Lord Shiva 都係 Krishna 嘅奉獻者嚟喺度，咁我都講嚟講，我哋係講係佢哋嗰個位置喺度，佢哋個地位喺度，唔係講佢哋嘅質方面。
We consider Lord Shiva top of Vishnu.
Wait, hold on. Hey, Jayashree, can you mute? Okay. Yeah, so position of Lord Brahma, any jiva who does 100 lifetimes of proper karma kanda, he can do that, but he may not necessarily be a pure devotee.
咁譬如喺經典入面記載啦，當一個人如果喺100世嚟講，你係做足所有跟隨所有偉大經入邊嘅規範仔去做嚟講咧，你下一世就會投生成一個Lord Brahma呢個位置啦，但係唔一定去成為一個係純粹嘅奉獻者。
Yeah, and of course, Lord Shiva is the topmost Vaishnava.
咁當然啦，Lord Shiva 嚟講係最高級嘅一個愛是能量。
So that seems to be a contradictory statement.
咁睇上嚟好似係互相矛盾。
But in general, what the statement is trying to say is a devotee, a Vaishnava devotee, is so rare, he can help others in his association to bring them back to Godhead.
咁其實嚟講，想帶出一點就係奉獻者十分之罕有。根據同奉獻者嘅聯誼嚟講咧，可以將同一齊聯誼嘅人嚟講，將佢帶到去回歸神手。
Although Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva could also be Vaishnavas, but they are busy with their services usually.
咁當然Lord Brahma 同 Lord Shiva 佢哋都係奉獻者，但係呢兩位嚟講，都係好忙於佢哋嘅一個創造啊、毀滅啊其他嘅工作。
Particularly so in this age of Kali Yuga.
咁特別係喺呢個卡利年代。
Yeah, the demigods don't even want to come into this yucky place.
咁奉獻者本神嚟講，你根本係唔想嚟到呢個咁醜陋嘅地方。
Yeah. All right. So yeah, the second statement, the presence of a devotee at the time of death elevates even the killer of a brahmana to the spiritual sky.
咁第二點你睇到就係奉獻者喺死亡嘅時候嚟講咧，係有奉獻者在場嚟講咧，咁即使一個係殺戮旁門人嚟講，都可以將佢帶到係回歸神手嘅。
So there is a pastime I can tell you, Ambarish Maharaj.
咁可以講個故事俾你講，就係講咗個國王 Ambarish 國王。
I think it's Ambarish Maharaj's brother.
我諗應該係佢個兄弟。
Once Narada Muni went to visit Ambarish Maharaj.
咁有一次嚟講咧，係 Narada Muni 嚟講就去探訪Ambarish。
And when after visiting Ambarish Maharaj, he was leaving.
咁當佢拜訪完 Ambarish 國王之後，跟住佢就離開啦，準備離開。
And so Ambarish Maharaj said, "Please visit my brother and give him some rest."
咁跟住Ambarish 國王嚟講就話：請你等多陣喺度，可唔可以俾啲恩賜我嘅兄弟？
And so Narada Muni goes to Ambarish Maharaj's brother's place.
咁於是 Ambarish Maharaj 就帶住Narada Muni 就去見佢嘅兄弟。
And when he approaches and he, I'm just making it easy. He knocks on the door, but there's no answer.
咁佢哋跟住就走去被敲門喺度啦，咁跟住去，但係冇人應佢個門。
So he knocks loudly.
跟住佢就敲大聲啲嘅。
And so the person inside the house is shouting, "Who are you there? Why are you disturbing me? Go away."
咁跟住喺屋入邊人嚟講就邊個喺度咁嘈生晒，嘈住我喺度啊！唔該你走啊，唔好阻住我啊！
And then Narada Muni keeps knocking because he promised Ambarish Maharaj.
咁Narada Muni因為答應過 Ambarish 國王嚟講，要去揾啲俾啲祝福佢嘅兄弟咧，於是佢繼續係咁樣敲門。
Yeah. So then Ambarish Maharaj's brother inside started using foul languages. He said, "Get out from my place. I'm doing well. I'm enjoying myself. Get out."
咁於是 Ambarish 國王個細女就響個兄弟嚟講，就喺屋入邊嗰度講，就用啲係粗言穢語啊啲説話嚟講係鬧佢喺度啊。你跟住話我而家幾好啊，我而家好好咁享受喺度，你唔好阻住我哋走啊。
And so, but Narada does not stop. He keeps knocking.
但係Narada嚟講咧係冇放棄嘅，咁係繼續係敲門。
And so finally, Ambarish Maharaj's brother comes and opens the door.
咁最後嚟講 ，Ambarish 國王個兄弟咧就係打開道門。
And he's angry and he's actually drunk and he's half naked.
咁嗰時嚟講，佢個啱嗰時候你講佢飲醉酒喺度啦，跟住好嬲啊！嗱，跟住係差唔多係一半嚟講係冇着衫嘅佢。
So Hare Krishna Maharaj. And when he sees Narada Muni, although he is drunk and so on, he recognizes this the same person. So he says, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
咁當然啦，最試佢嗰時係飲住酒都好啦，但係見到Narada Muni 講知道係一個聖人喺度啊，馬上對唔住喺度係俾頂拜。
And he says, "I'm drunk and so I cannot really welcome you. I'm with some people here."
佢話係唔好意思喺度，因為我飲住酒喺度啦，啱啱又同人哋一齊喺度，所以我係唔知道係你。
And so Narada Muni says, "That's okay." He says, when you meet Yamaraj, just ask him this question.
咁於是話咁冇問題喺度，但係當你見到係閻羅王嗰時嚟講咧，你要記住問一個問題。
He says, "What is it?" And he says, "Just remember, when you meet him, just ask him, what will happen to someone who sees a Vaishnava?"
咁於是嚟講，佢話問一個問題，就係當一個人係如果見到我是但亞嚟講，呢會係有啲咩會發生？
Okay. And so Narada Muni then goes away.
咁Narada Muni講完呢番説話嚟講咧，就係離開咗。
And Ambarish Maharaj's brother is not although he is the brother of Ambarish Maharaj, he's always doing all kinds of sinful activities.
咁即使啦，佢係Ambarish Maharaj 個兄弟都好啦，但係佢係做好多嘅罪惡活動。
And so finally he gives up his body and he is taken to Yamaraj's planet.
咁最後嚟講，佢係離開身體啦，咁就係被帶到去閻羅王嗰度受審㗎。
And at that place, when he is being sanctioned and when he's about to be passed judgment by Yamaraj, somehow or other he remembers Narad Muni's statement to him, the question he has to ask.
咁當佢喺到閻羅面前嚟講係要判刑嗰陣時嚟講咧，咁突然之間佢就諗起嚟講啊，那穆尼講到呢番説話，
And so he asked, I have a question, may I ask?
咁跟住就同閻羅王講咗，我有一個問題，可唔可以問呢個問題咧？
So Yamaraj says, yeah, what is the question?
咁閻羅就講話可以啊，你嘅問題係乜嘢咧？
Then he says, what will happen to someone who sees a Vaishnava?
咁跟住佢講就係話，當一個人見嗰個奉獻者嚟講，跟住會係發生啲乜嘢咧？
And so Yamaraj is thinking, he knows the answer, but then he's blank. He can't think of it.
咁其實閻羅王佢就知道個答案，但係真係喺嗰段時間嚟講，佢腦係一片空白，乜都諗唔起嘅。
Then he's thinking, but I think I should ask Lord Brahma.
咁於是諗嚟講，我諗我呢個問題應該走去揾Lord Brahma。
Yeah. So then when he's thinking like that, he said, let's go to Lord Brahma.
咁於是不如我哋一齊走去揾 Lord Brahma，睇佢點樣講。
So when they go to Lord Brahma and they ask the same question.
咁於是佢哋去見到 Lord Brahma 之後咧，就係問同樣一個問題。
And so Lord Brahma is also thinking. And he says, I don't know.
咁但係 Lord Brahma 諗起上嚟講，我都唔知喎。
And Lord Brahma says, I think we should ask Narayan.
咁於是 Lord Brahma 講，我諗我哋應該走去問 Lord Narayan。
So then they all go to see Lord.
咁於是佢哋一班人就一齊走去見 Lord Narayan。
So then they ask this question to Lord Narayan.
咁當佢哋去到嗰度啦，問 Lord Narayan 呢個問題咧，
Lord Narayan says, you will get liberated.
咁 Lord Narayan 講就係你會得到係解脫。
So, and they are all in Vaikuntha.
你哋就係已經要係嚟到呢個無憂聖所。
So Ambarish Maharaj's brother gets liberated because he remembered a saintly person like Narada Muni, whose instruction he followed.
咁呢個就係個結果，就係 Ambarish 嘅兄弟講，佢係見到 Narada Muni 啦，而係跟隨呢個聖人嘅一個教導去走去做，同埋呢番説話嚟講，佢就得到解脫。
So therefore, the presence of the Vaishnava at any time is glorious and wonderful.
所以奉獻者嘅出現嚟講咧，任何時刻嚟講咧，係值得係榮耀同埋係好正。
And in ISKCON, we are so fortunate because as devotees are about to leave the body, we all come together, we chant for the devotees and we scream our hearts out so that the devotee, we scream for them to go back to God.
所以喺台好幸運啦，當我哋有奉獻者差唔多離開身體嚟講咧，咁我哋有奉獻者會圍埋喺身邊嗰度啦，咁係用心咁係唱頌，大聲咁樣唱頌，希望能夠係回歸神手嘅幫佢。
Right? How many of you have gone to where devotees about to leave the body? Have you been there and chanted for them?
你有邊個係試過當奉獻者將近離開身體嚟講，你喺身邊嚟講係唱頌嘅？
Have you experienced it? It's an amazing experience.
有一個好奇妙個經歷嚟㗎。
So when you get an opportunity, when you hear a devotee is about to leave the body, you should all try to get together, go there and do a nice kirtan.
所以當我哋如果聽到個消息嚟講，有奉獻者準備離開身體嚟講，我哋都係集埋一齊，去到嗰個奉獻者我哋嚟講，集體呢個唱頌一齊 kirtan。
And there's another pastime. I don't know the whole story. I think it was in Taiwan where the devotee's father was dying.
咁我唔記得個整個故事係點啦。咁我記得好喺台灣咧有個奉獻者爸爸嚟講係準備離開身體。
So the devotee was, I think, was my god sister.
我諗個奉獻者應該係我哋啲神姊妹。
And so when she found her father was going through this, he was having cancer and he was about to die and he was in the hospital. So she went to see him.
咁佢知道佢爸爸，因為佢爸爸嚟講係有癌症，咁佢知道佢差唔多去到醫院咯，差唔多離開身體，呢時就喺醫院嗰度睇佢。
When she got to the hospital, he was in a lot of delirious condition.
咁喺嗰時嚟講咧，已經身體嚟講係好差，都好多惡劣嘅處境喺度。
He was crying and then he was frightened and he was crying.
咁嗰時佢好驚咧，見到咁嘅嚟講喺度喊，不斷係咁喊。
And then she was asking her father, what is the matter? What is wrong?
咁於是見到咁嘅情況之後，就問佢爸爸：咁發生咩事？點解你會變成咁樣？發生咩事？
And then he said, I'm seeing these black dogs running around this place.
咁佢爸爸就講：佢話見到好多黑狗啊，喺呢度周圍咁跑來跑去啊。
And I'm seeing these terrible looking guys with the lances and chains, you know.
佢話見到啲好恐怖，揸住啲矛啊，揸住啲鐵鏈啊，喺度係走埋嚟。
And so the daughter realized he's seeing the Yamadutas.
咁佢個女嚟講，馬上知道嚟講咧，已經係啲陰差、啲牛頭馬面啲鬼出嚟講係揾佢。
And so she said, please chant Hare Krishna.
咁於是佢就講嚟講啦，佢快啲啦，嚟請你唱 Hare Krishna。
But he like, no, I can't.
咁但係佢就講：哎呀，我唔得，我唱唔到，我唱唔到。
So then she got so frightened, and so she started to pray to Lord Narasimha.
咁佢跟住好驚喺度，於是佢開始向列星一啲禱告。
So, you know, very intensely, she started to call out Narasimha, and then she started to pray the prayers to her father.
於是好強烈、好用心咁樣嚟講唱列星一啲嘅禱文喺度為佢爸爸。
And by doing that, the father, who was very delirious, he became calm, and then he slept.
哦，跟住當爸爸當佢咁樣做嗰時嚟講，爸爸嚟講開始係平靜落嚟喺度，跟住係瞓着咗。
But she was there, and she kept chanting and chanting on a Japamala.
咁於是向爸爸嘅身邊啦，咁啊繼續係咁係連續唱誦嘅。
And after maybe 6 hours, he recovered.
咁跟到6個鐘頭之後嚟講咧，跟住佢係醒翻上嚟。
And he says he's again frightened.
佢仍然係好驚咁。
He said, I had a very bad dream.
跟住話我發咗個好惡夢。
And she said, what is the dream?
跟住佢個女問你係咩惡夢啊？你發咗？
He said, I saw this man coming and telling me to chant also.
我見到啲人嚟講，有啲人嚟講叫我擺唱誦嗰度。
But he didn't look like a man, he looked like a lion. You know?
佢話呢個你講咧係唔係好似人咁樣，係好似隻獅子㗎。
And then she understood Lord Narasimha is reciprocating with her prayers.
哦，咁啊，因為嗰個女仔嚟講，馬上知道嚟講，哦呢個就係列星嘅地方，列星嘅地就係應咗佢嘅禱文而嚟保護佢爸爸。
And so she said, please chant Hare Krishna.
於是就再請求佢爸爸快啲唱 Hare Krishna， 我請你唱 Hare Krishna。
Then he said, yeah, that thing also told me to chant.
佢話係啊，佢話嗰個人咧亦都叫我唱 Hare Krishna。
And so he tries to chant, and she chants with him.
於是嚟講，佢就爸爸開始唱誦 Hare Krishna， 跟住佢個女就同佢爸爸一齊唱 Hare Krishna。
So they chant for maybe half an hour like this.
咁於是佢哋唱咗差唔多半個鐘頭啦。
And then again, he goes back into unconscious.
於是爸爸嚟講咧，亦再進入翻係昏迷狀態嘅，唱完之後。
By this time, it's the next day.
咁喺嗰段時間之後嚟講，已經係第二日。
And so she comes out, and the doctors are coming.
咁當呢時佢離開咗咧，跟住個醫生咧馬上係走去睇佢爸爸。
And then in a short while, the father left the body.
咁喺好短時間嚟講咧，佢爸爸就離開咗身體，
But he chanted and he left his body.
但係佢係有唱誦，跟住就離開咗身體。
So therefore, the presence of a devotee at the time of death is so wonderful. Yeah.
所以喺奉獻者在場咧，你係離開身體嚟講咧，係十分之奇妙嘅。
Yeah. So very important, all of you.
所以在座
Respect
各
the
度，
devotee and chant properly.
所以在座奉獻者嚟講都要記住，要好好咁樣係認真咁念誦喺度嘅，同奉獻者一齊。
Don't take this for granted, you know.
唔好諗住呢啲係講十拿九穩冇事發生咁樣。
Right? A devotee should practice, and by practicing nicely, you can help others, and therefore that is your preaching.
所以你自己會做好你自己喺度啦，咁樣之後嚟講，你可以幫其他人。咁呢啲就係一種傳教。
Okay, let's look at the next one.
跟住我就從另外一點。
If a dog eater becomes a Vaishnava, then he becomes more elevated than a Brahmana. And if a sannyasi is devoid of devotion to Vishnu, then he is considered to be more degraded than a dog eater.
咁如果個食狗肉嘅人成為咗外善人阿連王咧，佢嘅地位嚟講係比個婆羅門係更加高尚。但係如果一個托缽僧嚟講，佢係缺乏對 Vishnu 嘅奉愛嚟講咧，咁佢被視為嚟講咧，比一個食狗肉嘅人嚟講更加係低下。
Basically, it's the same as number one.
咁呢個其實同第一點嚟講係差唔多。
That means anyone who is Vaishnava is very exalted. They're not under the caste.
咁一個成為奉獻者嚟講咧，已經係比較好高尚噶啦。佢係唔係受呢啲咁嘅階層嚟講咧係影響。
And so, we all coming from fallen condition.
咁我哋每一個嚟講咧，從啲好墮落嘅一個處境係而嚟嘅。
But when we start practicing, then we become a good Vaishnava.
但係當我哋開始修習之後咧，我哋會係嘗試成為一個好嘅奉獻者，係愛是冷雅。
Srila Prabhupada said when a Brahmana becomes self-realized, then he's a Vaishnava.
咁先包提到，當一個婆羅門啦，佢得到係自覺之後咧，佢就會成為一個愛是冷雅。
And similarly, you'll find that many people who take sannyas, but they are not worshipping Vishnu.
咁亦都同樣嚟講，你睇到好多人嚟講，可能係接受啲托缽經嘅階層啦，但係佢唔係 Vishnu 嘅奉獻者，佢冇崇拜 Vishnu。
Yeah, when you become sannyas, but you're not taking up the real goal of life, then you have to take birth again.
如果你接位托缽經，但係你冇揾到你自己一個真正嘅目標去做嚟講咧，咁你啲下一世你要再投生翻嚟。
Therefore, any devotee, whether it's Grihastha, Brahmachari, or Vanaprastha, if they are worshipping Vishnu, they are superior to any other sannyas who's not a Vaishnava.
咁如果一個人嚟講咧，無論你係精手生、托缽僧或者一個居士啊、呢個行腳僧都好喺度啦。咁如果佢係唔崇拜 Vishnu 嚟講咧，你係冇用嘅。
And so you can say a Vaishnava sannyasi is the most exalted.
所以我哋可以咁樣講，一個愛是冷雅嘅托缽僧嚟講咧，係最高尚。
Okay, we'll go to the next one.
咁我哋再到另外一點，下一點。
Even at the time of total annihilation, the devotees of Vishnu do not fall down. Therefore, Sri Hari is known everywhere as infallible, all-pervasive and inexhaustible. There's no need to fear a devotee. A devotee never inflicts pain on anyone.
即使佢宇宙毀滅時咧，愛 Vishnu 嘅奉獻者嚟講，亦都唔會係墮落。因此，聖 Hari 嚟講被稱為不可戰勝啦，遍全萬有，永無窮無盡嘅，唔需要害怕奉獻者。奉獻者從唔會傷害人。
Krishna says to Arjuna, right? Kaunteya Pratijana hi name bhakta pranashyati. Arjuna declared very boldly that my devotees never perish.
咁 Krishna 同阿尊咁講啦，佢哋大膽咁樣向人宣佈啊，我嘅奉獻者嚟講永遠唔會毀滅嘅。
Therefore, we shouldn't be afraid of a devotee.
所以係唔需要係害怕嘅奉獻者。
We should not be afraid to approach a devotee for guidance, for correction, for understanding.
我哋係唔需要怕嘅。當我哋係接近奉獻者，係要求佢嘅指導，要求佢嘅糾正，我哋係唔需要怕。
Okay. Yeah, so when you approach a devotee, and we are all devotees in a sense, we are all devotees. We are practicing devotees, but we are all devotees.
咁事實上我哋嚟講咧，都係收集緊嘅一個奉獻者啦。咁所以我哋其實同時嚟講，亦都係一個奉獻者咧，係一個收集緊嘅奉獻者。
And the greatest quality of a devotee is being compassionate to all living entities.
你奉獻者一個其中嘅品質嚟講，就係對所有生物嚟講都係充滿憐憫。
It's called Jiva Doi.
個名叫 Jiva Doi。
That means we are always compassionate to all living entities.
嘅意思就係時時都對所有嘅生物嚟講係充滿憐憫心。
Therefore, we may have disagreements with one another sometimes.
咁有時或者我哋之間嚟講有啲叫做唔同意嘅地方度。
So we shouldn't use harsh words.
我哋唔應該用啲粗暴嘅説話啦，粗魯嘅説話。
We should not hurt the other people's feelings.
我哋唔可以傷人哋嘅感受。
Because if we do that, we are hurting them and we are hurting the super soul in their hearts.
咁如果我哋咁樣做嚟講咧，我哋唔單止傷害到嗰個人，亦都傷害到嗰個人內心嘅超靈。
And I've mentioned before, the super soul is in the hearts of all living entities.
就好似我之前提過啦，咁超靈嚟講係每一個生物嘅內心。
And so the super soul also understands the feelings of each living entity.
而超靈嚟講咧，亦都係感受到每一個生物啊，佢內心嘅感受係乜嘢。
Although it may be difficult sometimes when we are dealing with one another, so we may become unhappy or angry with one another.
咁當然啦，我哋之間嘅交往嗰度咧，有時或者唔滿意喺度啊，或者會係感覺到唔開心，或者感到憤怒。
But we have to learn to hold our tongue
咁但係我哋要嘗試嚟講，要控制我哋個把口喎，
so that we will not say things that will hurt someone.
變咗我哋唔會咧講一啲嘢嚟講係傷害到人哋嘅。
In general, when we hurt someone, we may push them away from Krishna.
當我哋係傷害到某啲人嚟講咧嘅意思，如果就係將啲人拒絕佢哋係接近 Krishna。
And if you push a person too far away, they will lose the opportunity in this life to go back to God.
咁如果我將啲人嚟講咧係擁得好開，當我哋擁開佢哋，等佢哋唔好接近 Krishna 嚟講咧，俾呢啲人咧就唔可以呢一生翻去神手。
Therefore, we should be very careful what we say to who we say it to. We should always think twice before we say something.
所以當我哋講咩嚟講，我哋要諗下，我哋應該講啲乜嘢啊，或者我哋對邊啲人講嘢喺度，或者我哋講啲嘢之前嚟講咧，應該再重複諗下嚟講，我哋應該咁樣講。
So if you are feeling unhappy or so on, you can, as they say, you can count 10 times before you say something.
咁好似譬如有咁講啦，咁譬如我哋係好唔高興，我哋想講一啲説話喺度，咁有好似人提過就係，當你講呢番説話嘅時嚟講咧，你先剔10秒，一陣然後你先再諗下你應該講呢番説話。
Or you go out of the room and you go outside the house and you scream angrily and come back and talk nicely.
或者你可以走出個房間度啦，或者走出空曠嘅地方，咪大聲咁叫。等你發泄完一陣之後嚟講，就走翻嚟間房，咪再好好咁樣傾。
Yeah, but you should never hurt another devotee.
但係你千祈唔好係傷害，用説話嚟傷害到其他嘅奉獻者。
Only the managers, the temple president, the guru can chastise and scold and maybe hurt you.
咁只有嚟講係啲管理人啦，或者權威啦，或者靈性導師啦，或者係先可以責罵或者佢哋啲奉獻者。
But they all do it so that you can become a better devotee.
咁佢哋知咁樣做嚟講，就係想你成為一個更好嘅奉獻者。
In general, we will come to those topics of how to correct later on.
咁跟住嚟講，我哋會係再講我哋嚟講就點樣將呢啲嘢係糾正過嚟。
Okay, so let's go to the 5th one.
咁我哋跟住落去講第5點。
Those, yeah,
Isn't it also the case that much of our karmic reactions comes through the devotee?
咁會唔會講係有啲可能係我哋啲業力啊，係聽嗰啲奉獻者嚟講係影響我哋嘅身上嗰度咧？
yeah. So although what you're saying is true, a devotee is always compassionate to all living entities.
咁或者你講嘅嚟講係啱嘅，咁但係奉獻者嚟講咧，始終嚟講係對所有人都係憐憫。
Although Krishna may arrange for one devotee and another devotee to have some improper dealing sometimes.
咁或者 Krishna 佢嘅安排嚟講，兩個奉獻者嚟講之間嚟講有啲唔恰當嘅個交往啊行為。
I mean, I shouldn't use the word improper. My point is sometimes Krishna arranges for us to learn a lesson.
咁我唔應該用唔恰當嗰度，應該用我哋講就係話 Krishna 咁樣做嚟講咧，想我哋從中係學到啲嘢，上一課。
Devotee means he or she understands that whatever they are going through is coming by the sanction of the Lord.
咁奉獻者應該係知道嚟講，所有嘢嘅發生嚟講咧，係主嘅允許之下，嗱先會發生。
So whether the karma is good or bad, they always acknowledge that it is through the Lord's mercy or blessings that I'm going through this.
咁無論呢啲所謂嘅業力啊，係好有壞嚟講，奉獻者嚟都視為嚟講係主一個仁慈啦，一個主嘅一個祝福。
But the problem is, unless you are at a certain level of consciousness, you cannot recognize those situations.
咁問題就係，當你要去到某一個意識知覺嘅層次咧，你先能夠認清到呢啲嘢嘅發生。
Therefore, devotees should have Shiksha Gurus so that they can go and ask them, I'm going through these difficulties. This devotee spoke to me in this way. Help me figure this out.
咁所以奉旨嚟講咧，要有一個訓示嘅靈性導師。咁當你有問題嚟講，你會找呢個靈性導師講出嚟。哦，呢個奉獻者嚟講，同我講呢番咁嘅説話喺度喎。啊，究竟我點樣可以係睇呢件事？呢番説話係點樣睇咧？
Otherwise, they cannot see that it's coming because of the karma, or is it coming because they have to learn a valuable lesson from Krishna? They will just blame it on the other devotee.
如果唔係嚟講，我哋睇唔到究竟呢啲究竟係咪我嘅業報啊？所以有咁嘢發生我身上喺度啊，佢睇唔到啲嘢喺度。你只要嚟講係將啲責任嚟講咧推卸晒落，哦，梗係呢個奉獻者做錯先會係咁樣。
Yeah, there's a famous verse, right? Lord Brahma 10, 14:8, Tattena Kampam Sushumakshamanam, where he says that, whatever difficulties, whatever karma comes, I accept it because I see it as your mercy. Yeah.
咁就好似 Lord Brahma 曾經講嗰番説話就係我所有呢啲咁困難或者呢啲咁嘅問題發生身上嚟講，我都視為嚟講你對我一個恩慈。
Yeah, but can we all say that?
但係我哋可唔可以咁樣諗咧？我哋可唔可以咁樣講咧？
So that's the challenge.
呢個其中一個挑戰。
Ask because of this statement, it says a devotee never inflicts pain on anyone.
Yeah.
But oftentimes, because when we become devotees, we are more or less disconnected from non-devotees. We don't associate with them, asat sanga tyaga. So everything comes through the devotees, the happiness and the pain.
Yeah.
It also comes through the devotees.
Yes.
They may not be intentionally inflicting it upon us, but it does come through them. And that's probably one of the reasons why we find it difficult to
Live with the body.
to observe the first one. And also remember the first point is difficult.
咁你講到嚟講，奉獻者唔會帶俾人哋嗰個痛苦喺度啦。咁 Mark 講到話，其實當我哋係成為奉獻者嚟講咧，已經同出邊嘅人嚟講係斷絕咗冇落網喺度。咁個交換率只係奉獻者喺度。所以奉獻者嘅説話嚟講，我哋好傷，即係我哋好認真對待喺度嘅講嗰句説話喺度。有時可能覺得佢講説話好傷我哋，覺得好痛喺度。咁所以我哋唔會諗到嚟講，奉獻者嚟講，其實第一點講到話奉獻者係十分之崇高喺度，我哋好少會咁樣諗啊。
I mean, you are right. It is coming through a devotee, but we are supposed to see it that it is not coming through the devotee.
咁冇錯，咁我哋可以咁睇話，係由個奉獻者嘅口上，從佢身上從佢咁樣嚟講係令發生講啲嘢發生喺我身上度。但我亦都係咁樣睇嚟講，其實係唔係奉獻者嘅安排 ，Krishna 一個安排嚟嘅。
You mean it's coming through them, but not from them.
Not from them.
即係唔係有哋嘢，係 Krishna 通過佢哋而係講啲嘢發生喺我身上。
What I want to add is that Krishna uses all of us as instruments to help us each other.
咁我想加多樣嘢話 ，Krishna 將我哋係變成一隻工具啦，咁係透過一個工具嚟講幫助我哋係進步，大家互相幫助，大家互相進步。
Krishna tells Arjuna, become my instrument, nimitta mantram.
所以 Krishna 講，打出嚟講就係你成為我個工具。
Yeah, so let me use you to do what my plan is.
咁 Krishna 講話，你讓你成為我嘅工具喺度，然後實踐我嘅計劃。
So we may have our own plans, but Krishna has the best plan for us.
咁我哋或者有我哋嘅計劃啦，但係 Krishna 一個更好嘅計劃嘅俾我哋，幫我哋一個更好嘅計劃。
So sometimes that plan is coming through a certain devotee.
所以有時啲計劃嚟講咧，係經過某一特定嘅奉獻者嚟講，係同我哋講發生喺我哋身上。
But my point is, we have to be ready to recognize this is Krishna's mercy.
我想講嘅就係話，我哋要真正認清嚟講，其實呢啲嚟講係 Krishna 嘅一個恩慈。
Yeah, so this is the challenge for practicing devotees like us.
咁呢個就係好似我哋收集緊嘅奉獻者嚟講嘅，即係一種面對嘅一種挑戰。
Because we practice at a superficial level, so therefore we cannot dive deep into the nuances of what Krishna is trying to tell us.
咁因為我哋而家咧收集嚟講就係好表面，我哋唔能夠深入到嚟講，認清到嚟講究竟 Krishna 嚟講係想講啲乜嘢啊？明白到 Krishna 究竟嘅用意係乜嘢？
And that's why, we may be in the movement for 20 years, 30 years, still doing the same silly things.
咁所以有時又發覺啦，即使我哋或者喺我哋呢個收集運動嚟講有20年、30年喺度啦，但係我哋都同樣係做一啲愚蠢嘅嘢。
So it starts with our connection with the devotees and extends all the way to Krishna himself.
所以呢個就係我哋同奉者嘅聯誼喺度啦，跟住再延伸到去到 Krishna 嗰度。
Our devotional association is meant to elevate our consciousness to see where I want to be.
咁我哋嘅聯誼嚟講，就希望我哋將我哋嘅意識知覺提高啦，然後俾我哋認清究竟我哋係想去到邊度。
If I associate with devotees, I should go home in my spare time. I must be thinking, I want to go back to Godhead.
咁我同奉者聯誼之後嚟講咧，譬如我哋翻到屋企嚟講，我哋應該要咁樣諗就係話，我嘅目標嚟講，我就係想回歸神受。
Or I want to have devotee association all the time.
我想時時都有奉獻者嘅聯誼。
If we don't come to this stage, then our practice is lacking.
咁如果冇咁嘅諗法嚟講咧，變咗我哋嘅收集嚟講咧，已經有些少係滯後咗。
Okay. Thank you.
多謝多謝。
Okay, so the last statement, those who worship Supreme Personality of Godhead, no, it's not the last. Sri Hari are the best of all people, and no one is better than them in the three worlds.
如果一個人係崇拜至尊聖嘅首神 Sri Hari，佢係所有人之中嚟講係最好嘅，亦都係響三個世界之中嚟講係最好嘅一個。
Okay, this statement is just reinforcing the other statements.
咁其實呢個都係加強調翻頭先所講嗰啲嘅敘述。
What it means is we should be so happy that we are with devotee association.
咁意思嚟講就係我哋應該好開心啊！當我哋同奉獻者一齊。
Although, as Mataji was saying also, sometimes we have so much difficulty with devotees.
咁當然啦，好似媽姐咁講到嚟講，咁有時我哋同奉獻者之間嘅交往可能有啲問題喺度。
There was once a priest, a new priest, who joined the church.
咁有一個嘅好新嘅一個牧師啦，咁樣啱啱係加咗個教會啦。
And the abbot of the church was helping all these new priests.
咁有一個嚟講係專幫一啲新嚟嘅一啲嘅牧師嘅。
We can call the new priest a junior priest.
咁我哋講呢個係初階嘅一個牧師啦。
So then the junior priest was working with so many different priests, and then he started to complain to the abbots.
咁於是嚟講咧，佢就呢個新嚟嘅初階嗰個牧師嚟講，好似係向身邊嘅人嚟講咧，就投訴佢身邊嘅人，要同佢個高級嗰個教師。
He's saying we read in the Bible this, but this priest is like this, that priest is like that. Why are they doing this, complaining?
咁於是嚟講，佢話我聖經聖經入邊讀到嚟講話應該咁樣做，但係點解呢個人又係咁樣做，同聖經同呢個人又咁樣做，同聖經唔同嗰度？於是人開始投訴，每一個人都要投訴。
And so then the priest said, okay, I understand, just go outside, collect some stones and put it in a bag and tie it up and tie it onto your waist and come back here.
咁於是就OK，佢話你想講嘢，我知道。或者嗱，如果你出去出邊嗰度，要揾嚿石，執嚿石頭翻嚟，擺喺個袋嗰度，綁落去，你跟住掛喺條腰嗰度翻翻嚟。
Okay, so then when he came back, he said, let's look at those stones you picked.
咁於是當佢翻嚟嚟講咧，跟住話睇下你頭先執嗰啲石頭係點樣。
He said, how are they? How do they look?
佢哋睇落去係點樣咧？啲石頭。
Then he felt it, oh, they're, a bit rough and not nice to hold.
咁於是嚟講，呢啲石頭嚟講好粗糙喺度啊，攞上手嚟講都唔滑咁。
So he said, now you tie it in your waist and then you come back in 1 month's time.
咁於是嚟講，我話你綁條腰嗰度，跟住有1個月之後嚟講，再係翻嚟。
Don't take it off except for bathing.
佢話唔好將佢放低，除咗你沖涼之後先係放低。
Okay, so after 1 month, he came back.
咁於是過咗一個之後嚟講，佢再翻去。
He said, let's look at the stones.
佢話我哋再攞啲石頭出嚟睇下。
And then when he opened and he looked, all the stones were smooth.
咁當佢再攞啲石頭嚟講咧，所有石頭嚟講咧變得係滑咗。
So he was saying, when we are here among different types of devotees, we will see different qualities of devotees.
所以當我哋係同唔同嘅奉獻者嚟講咧，我哋會留意到唔同嘅奉獻者有唔同嘅品質。
But as we interact, sometimes we will not be happy, sometimes we will get angry and so on. But we'll start to learn our own defects also.
咁當我哋之間嘅交往嚟講咧，可能係 有好多嘅問題發生喺度啊。但係我哋從中嚟講咧，係一種學習喺度，亦都可以睇到佢哋嘅其實睇到佢身上嘅嘢嚟講咧，係我哋自己個弱點嚟嘅。
As we learn, we make changes to our own practices.
當我哋睇到嚟講，你學習到嚟講，我哋收集當中嚟講，要有啲咩地方我需要改正過嚟。
Eventually, those bad qualities we have, we give up.
當我哋留意到呢啲咁嘅壞嘅品質嚟講咧，我哋要將佢拋開。
Then the junior priest was like, yeah, you're right.
咁呢個初階嘅修士嚟講咧，個牧師馬上嚟到冇錯，你講嘅嘢係啱。
Therefore, the devotees are the best people to be with.
所以嘅奉獻者嚟講係最好同佢一齊嘅人嚟嘅。
Maybe in the beginning it may not look like this.
咁開始嚟講啦，睇落去好似唔係咁樣。
Who is going to tell you you are wrong?
邊個會同你講嚟講你係做錯？
Only your best well-wishers will tell you you are
只
wrong.
有一個係真係想你好嘅人嚟講咧，你嘅祝願者先會話俾你知你係錯，
Right?
係咪？
Okay. Move to the next one. We continue.
我哋要繼續落去下一點。
Those sinless, magnanimous Vaishnavas purify the entire creation. Therefore, they are even better than places of pilgrimage.
無罪胸懷寬廣嘅愛是那雅，能夠淨化整個創造，因此佢嘅地位係更聖地。
All right. So generally, you will see that devotees go to different places of pilgrimage, tirthas.
咁好多時你留意到啦，好多奉獻者去好多唔同嘅聖地啦，我哋叫 Tirtha 啦。
Yeah. So why do you go to tirtha?
你去啲聖地點解要去啲聖地咧？
Purify ourselves.
Yeah, to purify ourselves.
為咗淨化我哋自己。
Actually, the way you purify in tirthas is you go and dump your karma or your sin and then come back.
咁你去聖地嚟講，就係將我哋罪孽啦，將佢好似講嘅清洗啦，抌喺放喺呢個聖地嗰度，跟住我哋走翻。
And the tirthas can only take so much of the sins of the people.
咁但係聖地嚟講，其實佢所接受呢啲咁嘅罪孽嚟講咧，都係有個定量數量喺度。
And if you read or if you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, when
You devotee purify.
Bhagirata was trying to bring Ganga, she also asked the same thing. You know, I don't want to take all the who's going to purify me.
咁當 Bhagirata 國王嚟講去請求呢個恆河落嚟嘅地球嗰時嚟講咧，咁亦都係問過同樣嘅問題。
And then he said, the pure devotees who come, they will purify me.
咁所以佢嘅答案就係話，當一純粹嘅奉獻者去呢啲聖地啊，啲聖河嚟講、沐浴嚟講咧，就會將呢啲嘅罪孽嚟講係清除翻。
And that is the reason why Prabhupada also says we go to the holy places and tirthas, not just to take bath, but we want to hear from such great Vaishnavas.
所以聖保羅派都係講過啦，我哋去聖地嚟講咧，唔單止係走去係啲聖河度係沐浴度，而係我哋走去揾聽啲聖人嘅講課。
When you go and take bath in Ganga or Yamuna, you get purified just for that period.
咁我哋譬如去聖河啊、恒河啊啲地方沐浴嚟講咧，但係嗰段時間嚟講係得到好處。
But when you hear from Vaishnava, they purify eternally.
但係當我哋從一個聖人身上聆聽一啲話語嚟講，我哋呢一生嚟講咧係永遠都得到呢個淨化。
And that's why when a Vaishnava says something or chastise you, you feel all the way in your soul.
所以點解一個外省嚟講咧，責罵你或者同你講翻説話嚟講咧，你覺得嚟講係入心入肺喺度。
No one hurts you more than a devotee.
冇一個人嚟講比個奉獻者嚟講更加傷透你嘅，
No one makes you happy more than a devotee.
冇一個人令到你更加開心好似個奉獻者嘅。
That is the purification
呢個其實係一個淨化嘅過程，
and the blessings.
同埋一種祝福。
Okay. So therefore they are even better than places of pilgrimage.
所以就係講佢哋係比一個聖地係更加。
Yeah. Right. So if you want to get purified, just talk to some senior Vaishnavas, let them chastise you nicely, and you don't have to go to holy dham.
所以我哋如果真係想得到淨化咧，咁我哋揾啲係啲比較進步嘅奉獻者喺度啦， 等佢得到佢哋嘅責罵嚟講咧，咁我哋可以得到淨化，唔需要走去聖地。
Of course, the senior Vaishnava must be your well-wisher also.
咁當然啦，呢個進步奉獻者或者呢個係俾資深奉獻者，一定係佢係有佢嘅祝願者，即係對你好嘅奉獻者，即係為咗你好嘅奉獻者。
So as devotees, you should find out who is your well-wisher and you take shelter of them.
咁都係作為一個奉獻者嚟講咧，你要揾出一個嚟講，呢個奉獻者係真心係想你好嘅，係對你好嗰度。咁我哋要揾出呢位奉獻者，然後託俾呢個。
And when you come to them and you ask them for guidance, they are giving guidance for your benefit.
咁當你去到請求佢哋俾個指引嚟講，佢個指引嚟講咧係為咗你好，俾你益處得到益處，跟住係咁指導你。
And they chastise you for your benefit.
咁佢哋所以鬧你、責罵你講咧，其實都係為你好，
Yeah, they have nothing to gain
因為佢本身嚟講係冇得到乜嘢嘅。
unless they are masochistic or sadistic.
咁除非佢哋想係從中嚟講係得到咩嘅益處嗰啲人就先係咁。
Otherwise, what joy is there to scold someone?
咁如果唔係嚟講，就鬧人有咩好處？鬧人得到咩開心啫？
Okay. Number 7, those who claim to be my devotees are not actually my devotees. Those who are devotees or my devotees are my real devotees.
嗰啲係稱為我嘅奉獻者嚟講，事實上唔係我嘅奉獻者嚟嘅。如果嗰個奉獻者嚟講話係我奉獻者嘅奉獻者咧，咁先係真正我嘅真正奉獻者。
This is, you can compare this to the verse that is chanted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gopil Bhartu Padakamalaya, Dasa Dasa Anudasa.
咁你可以將呢段字同個主日坦爺所講嗰番説話度，可以成為我都能夠主人嘅僕人嘅僕人嘅僕人。
Yeah, because Mahaprabhu takes the position of, I'm a servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis who are the serving of Krishna and Radha. Yeah.
咁因為主日坦爺咧，佢係接受咗個位置咧，佢話自己嚟講係主 Krishna 嘅莫姑娘嘅僕人嘅僕人嘅僕人。
Yeah. So when people ask who are we don't say I'm devotee of Krishna. We say we are devotees of Srila Prabhupada.
所以人哋問我哋係乜嘢嚟講咧？我哋講嚟講，我哋唔係我唔會直接講我哋係 Krishna 嘅僕人，我哋講我哋係泡泡嘅僕人。
Yeah. Or if they say, but yeah, who do you worship? Then you say, yes, we worship Krishna, but through Prabhupada.
咁啲人就會咁，咁你崇拜邊個喺度啊？咁我哋會講，我係崇拜 Krishna，不過係通過泡泡嚟崇拜 Krishna。
Therefore, we always say we are Prabhupada Nugas.
所以好多時我哋講係泡泡嘅 Luke。
And Prabhupada is Rupa Nuga.
嗱泡泡嚟講咧，稱為叫 Rupa Luke。
Yeah, because he follows Rupa Goswami and we follow Prabhupada. So we also following Rupa Goswami.
因為泡泡嚟講跟隨緊 Rupa Goswami，而我哋跟隨緊泡泡。咁換之，我哋都係亦即係跟隨緊 Rupa Goswami。
And Rupa Goswami follows Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
而 Rupa Goswami 嚟講就係跟隨緊聖主就係摩巴門。
Yeah. So, okay. Any questions?
有冇咩問題？
沒有問題。沒有問題。
沒有問題。
Okay, number 8.
第8點。
My devotees were surrendered unto me and free from attachment, disgust, envy, and pride, sing my glories all the time. They never cause any harm to anyone. They are always engaged in worshipping my devotees and eager to hear about me. They are the ones who always carry me in their hearts.
我嘅奉獻者臣服於我，遠離執着、厭惡、嫉妒和驕傲。他們恆常歌頌我嘅榮耀，他們永不傷害眾生。他們始終渴望崇拜我嘅奉獻者，渴望聆聽我嘅事蹟。他們心裏永遠承載着我。
Yeah, in the 9th canto, when Durvasa Muni is chased by the Sudarshan Chakra, he goes to Narayana and asks for help.
喺第9篇，當Durvasa Muni 咧俾 Naran 嗰個神碟啊追嗰時講咧，於是佢走到去求呢個 Naran 嘅救佢。
And then Narayana says, the devotees are in my heart and I'm in their hearts.
咁 Naran 就咁同道一相嚟講，佢話我喺我個奉獻者心入邊，我心奉獻者亦都喺我心裏邊。
And I always care for them.
我主要係時時係關心佢哋，
I can't help you.
我幫你唔到。
But if you go back to Ambarish Maharaj and ask for forgiveness, then the Sudarshan Chakra will not help you.
咁佢話你唯有嚟講就係揾翻Ambarish Maharaj 向佢係請求佢嘅原諒啦，然後跟住嗰個神碟先會係停落嚟。
He says, actually, I can't stop the Sudarshan Chakra. Only Ambarish Maharaj can.
事實上我唔可以阻止停止呢個神碟啊，只有係 Ambarish 國王先可以將個神碟停落嚟。
And when he approaches Ambarish Maharaj and asks for forgiveness, immediately the Sudarshan Chakra stops chasing him.
咁當佢走到Ambarish 國王面前咧，請求佢嘅原諒嘅，咁之後嚟講嘅神碟先馬上停咗落嚟。
Because Ambarish Maharaj didn't want to hurt the Durvasa Muni at all.
咁其實 Ambarish 國王嚟講係唔想係傷害到一生 Muni，
Even though Durvasa Muni wanted to kill him.
即使當到一生 Muni 嗰時係想殺呢個國王，
But Ambarish Maharaj immediately forgave him.
而 Ambarish 國王應該馬上係原諒咗。
Why?
點解咧？
Because they never caused harm to anyone.
因為佢永遠唔會係傷害任何人。
If you also remember the pastime of Narada Muni with Mridari the hunter.
咁亦都要記起一件事，就係Narada Muni同一個獵人啊。
Before he became a devotee, he was killing the animals, half killing the animals and torturing them.
因為當佢係成為奉者之前嚟講咧，佢殺害啲動物嚟講咧，令到啲動物嚟講係半生半死嘅。
But after he became a devotee, he didn't even want to step on an ant.
咁但係當佢成為奉者嚟講咧，連一隻螞蟻都佢唔想係踩死嘅。
Because a devotee sees the super soul in all living entities.
因為奉者嚟講咧，見到所有生命內心都有Krishna 喺度。
Maybe not physically they see, but they can understand the super soul and the soul is in all living entities.
或者佢唔係話親眼見到 Krishna 喺每一個生命內心，但係起碼佢係察覺到知道Krishna 係內心中嘅超靈喺啲生物體嗰度。
Therefore, they have the greatest respect for all living entities and they are so compassionate and merciful.
所以點解佢哋係對每個生物都會尊敬啦，同埋係對所有生物嚟講都係憐憫。
And the other thing, as practicing devotees, we should always try to hear the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His devotees.
咁當我哋係收集緊嘅，作為收集緊嘅奉獻者咧，我呢個時係聆聽 Krishna 嘅榮耀啦，同埋佢嘅奉獻者嘅榮耀。
Right? We should try to hear pastimes. If we have free time, we should come together. And if you can't come together, maybe on WhatsApp or WeChat, talk about Krishna or the devotees of Krishna.
咁當我哋係有機會聚埋一齊啦，咁我哋應該係聽多啲有關 Krishna 嘅講。咁或者有時我哋未必有時間咧，咁我哋應該通過係WeChat 啊、WhatsApp 啊，咁啊一齊係講述 Krishna 嘅逍遙時光，去奉獻者嘅逍遙時光。
Now we can give you all these examples of how you can raise your consciousness.
咁我哋所只係俾到個例子俾你啦，點樣可以係幫助我哋提升我哋嘅意識知覺？
We can't force you to do it,
我哋唔可以強迫你去做，
but you have to do it.
但係你自己要跟住做。
So you can make yourself eligible to going back to God.
變咗我哋可以令到自己係有資格啦，可以係翻關係神授。
If you're not going to come together and do Krishna Katha or do Kirtan together or talk about Srila Prabhupada's pastimes, you're not going to make advancement.
如果我哋唔係坐埋一齊嚟講，係講 Krishna 嘅榮耀，係 Kirtan 或者講 Prabhupada 嘅逍遙時光嚟講咧，我哋係唔可以回歸神授，唔可以係得到進。
Most of the time, devotees get together and talk about what is the stock market, what is the price of things like that.
咁當好多時都奉者坐埋一齊嚟講，就會講今日股市點樣啊？今日邊樣嘢嚟講嘅價錢係點樣啊？
Or war in Ukraine, Middle East, this is all they talk about.
咁我哋要講或者係烏克蘭嘅戰爭啊，中東嘅戰爭啊，會講呢啲。
Some of these things will never stop.
呢啲嘢嚟講係永遠唔會停止嘅。
When I was 6 years old, the Israel-Palestine war was going on.
咁我當去6歲嗰陣時嚟講呢個以色列嗰邊佢已經係戰爭嗰度，成日有戰爭。
Now I'm 66, 67 years old and it's still going.
但係你諗到嚟講，而家我已經60幾歲喺度啦，但係嗰邊仍然有戰火。
So as devotees, we have no time for this anymore.
咁對奉旨嚟講咧，已經係冇時間喺呢方面。
We should focus on who is Krishna, how I can connect with Krishna.
我哋應該係集中將我哋最焦點嚟講咧，係諗響係邊個係 Krishna，我哋點樣係聯繫上 Krishna。
Who are Krishna's devotees, the Prabhupada, all the acharyas, we should know who they are.
咁我應該知道認識到邊個係拋喺度，有啲先前嘅靈性導師Acharya 係咩喺度，我哋要認識佢哋。
So when you develop such an attitude, you will become very elevated.
當我哋係培養到呢種嘅品格啊，你啲咁嘅態度嚟講咧，我哋就可以係進步得好快。
And when you talk, the speech you speak is coming from the heart and it's connected to Krishna.
咁當我哋變咗我哋所講嘅説話嚟講咧，全部由我哋內心嗰度係講出嚟喺度，而呢啲説話嚟講係連上全部係連上 Krishna 嗰度係講出嚟嘅。
And anyone who hears you immediately get transformed in their heart.
咁當人聽到所講説話嚟講咧，喺內心嚟講亦都得到個轉化。
Okay, and then you can carry Krishna in.
然後跟住我哋就可以將 Krishna 係承載喺我哋內心。
Any comments, questions?
有咩評論？有咩問？
It's really clear. My devotion who was upon me. Me is who? Christian or Prabhupada?
Capital M.
Yeah.
大草 M。
Me.
Oh, whenever you use capital M, it means the Supreme Lord.
當我哋
Sorry.
用大草個大草 M 嚟講咧，就係代表係至尊主，我哋先用大草。
Yeah. So whenever the letters are capitalized, generally they refer to Krishna, the Supreme Person.
所以逢親嚟講咧，見到入邊啲文字咧，用大草寫嗰啲嚟講就係 Krishna 在指至尊主。
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Yes.
We always read and hear a lot of the position of the devotees is more elevated and then we are best of all people and then we are even better than places of pilgrimage. And then very subtly, and I heard and then many people, many devotees after some kind of practice, they feel that they are always higher, they are higher than other people. So during preaching, very subtly, we feel that we're higher than other people. We look down on other people. How to?
Okay, in general, when you are making advancement, you don't see yourself better than others. Actually, when you are advancing, you actually see how bad you are.
咁開始講到就話，頭先你講到話，我哋提到咗點，講到奉旨係點樣偉大，點樣係比聖地係更加純粹。咁好多時嚟講呢一啲好精微嘅嘢喺度，好多時咧我哋會睇完之後，你覺得變咗自己嚟講係與別不同喺度啊，自己比係進步人哋好多喺度啊，變咗嚟講就可以佢睇唔起有啲奉獻者會係咁樣喺度。咁我講就話呢個變咗我哋係。咁睇其他人都係咁樣喺度啦，咁佢話當我哋隨住時間咁收集嗰時嚟講咧，我哋慢慢會提升我哋自己。
And you see the Acharyas like Narottam Das Thakur, he says, I've taken poison all my life. He's really feeling that he has wasted his life, although he's such an exalted person.
咁當你係慢慢收集嗰時，你發覺你自己係更加係渺小喺度啦，更加自己好壞嘅品質喺度。譬如頭先講到Narottam Das Thakur講啦，佢嘅土文又或者歌曲入面講到講，我係咁即係墮落喺度啊，我係飲緊毒藥喺度啊，係嘥咗我哋浪費咗我自己呢一生。
Actually, a devotee is making advancement can see more and more of his own faults. And therefore he cannot see other people as less.
所以當奉旨係越進步嗰時，咁佢只會睇到自己內心嚟講係充滿好多嘅瑕疵，好多嘅過錯喺度，反而佢唔會係留意到其他奉獻者嘅有啲咩唔好喺人哋身上。
If you read Brihad Bhagavatam, they all should read actually.
咁譬如有一本我哋應該讀嘅叫《Brihad Bhagavad Gita》，咁你呢個本係好嘅書，大家應該讀。
there you will see there's a devotee, there's two stories. So you will see one is Narada Muni seeing who's the greatest.
咁其實有講到兩部分喺度啦，其中一部分你講到就係嗱，而家想揾出嚟講係邊個係個最偉大嘅奉獻者？
So he approaches different devotees like Prahlad Maharaj and the Pandavas and so on. Everyone is like, I'm not so great, I'm fallen, and they tell all their disqualification.
咁跟住當佢係譬如佢講佢揾到 Prahlad Maharaj 喺度揾到你 Pandava 喺度咁每一個人嚟講咧都覺得我唔係偉大嘅奉獻者喺度，淨係講自己嘅唔好自己嘅瑕疵嘅唔好嘅地方。
So now you understand this is how a devotee should think. So if we have feelings in our heart that, oh, I'm better than this person I'm preaching to, you cannot actually connect with them and give them Krishna consciousness.
咁呢個就你睇到嚟講咧，當你如果你係同人傾偈，同人傳教時，你覺得我比佢哋係更加好嗰時嚟講咧，你好難嚟講係同佢有個內心嘅交流喺度啦，然後係令到佢明白你所講嘅嘢。
Krishna will take away that ability.
因為 Krishna 會將你啲咁嘅能力嚟講會攞走。
Just like you go on book distribution, you think, oh, I'm doing so good.
就好似譬如我哋走去派書嗰度啦，我哋諗我睇我派得幾多書，我幾叻。
All of a sudden, nobody wants your book.
咁突然之間你講咧，冇人要你嘅書。
They will start chastising you or scolding you and say, get out from here, you're not working, get out.
跟住咧，啲人就開始鬧你喺度走開又唔好阻住我喺度。
Yeah. So Krishna will smash your falsity.
Krishna 會打碎我哋個假我。
But what about before we reach that at once? They're still like the new devotees, but then just when we come into a person already, we're reading a lot before we actually practice. So before we reach that advancement stage.
Yeah. But the way, you have to believe Krishna has a plan for each of us also to get purified.
咁我哋要知道嚟講 ，Krishna 背後有個計劃喺度嘅，佢每個奉獻者背後都係有個安排嘅俾佢哋。
我講問題我有啲人咧，有啲因為一路係一路初嚟一路讀咗好多呢啲啦，咁但係我哋未到喺度識到話 advance， 我哋仲未到嗰 advance 嗰個程度，咁但係我哋已經有啲咁嘅
感覺
係啦。 即係好似講睇低人咁樣。
咁所以佛夫就講就係話，
但我哋未到嗰個頭先講話佢 advance， 佢仲未到嗰個，佢已經係幾高嘅。
You just explain this question.
Oh, she's explaining her question. Yeah. So Krishna will plan and arrange for you to understand that you're not advanced.
Krishna 都會係做一個安排會令到你知道嚟講，其實你唔係真係咁進步。
Sometimes devotees may give an amazing presentation.
咁有啲人嚟講，有啲奉獻或者佢一個講課嚟講啦，係講得好精彩。
This is how the material world is. The person may think I'm so good, but then someone else will come and do a better job.
咁但係有物質世界就係咁樣嗰度嘅，好似譬如當你可以為自己做得好，但有一個人嚟講咧，可能比你做得更加好。
Or just sometimes maybe during the temple, the devotees making a cake for their guru, and this is the only person who knows to make cake, and they think, oh, I'm so good.
咁就好似譬如靈性導師個生意喺度啦，有個奉獻者嚟講咁整咗佢哋好靚嘅蛋糕俾個靈性導師喺度你睇下，好似冇人識整，淨係得佢識整喺度去咁樣。
And then they come and put in front of the guru their cake.
跟住將佢哋嗰個蛋糕就擺喺靈性導師嘅面。
And then another devotee comes and brings a bigger cake, look at 3 tiers and look even more nicer.
咁但係跟住有另個奉獻者嚟講咧，呢個更加大，更加係多幾層嘅蛋糕入嚟。
So the devotee who is thinking he or she is so good at baking cake then will become very small and say, I cannot compete. Yeah.
咁當你見到個大蛋糕時，你嗰個奉獻者馬上講其實我都冇人哋整得咁靚嗰度馬上即刻係低聲下氣落嚟。
In Krishna consciousness,
Almond,
you
you
have
guys.
to learn to accept
Uh-huh.
that there are devotees who are
Criminal
always better
justice.
than another devotee.
criminal
喺
justice.
Christian 之角嚟講，我哋時時都要記住，我哋要接受嚟講，一啲奉獻者嚟講係比一啲奉獻其他一啲奉獻者嚟講更加係好。
Because if you don't learn very early, very quickly, Krishna will arrange for you to have a big crash.
咁如果我哋唔係盡早或者盡快嚟講學識啲嘢嚟講咧，Krishna 會俾一個更大嘅教訓背後嚟講咧，整冧你。
Another problem is when you think you're good, there's a tendency to be offensive also.
咁當你諗住嚟講，我哋自己係好好嗰時，或者最好嚟講咧，咁嘅心態底下嚟講就好容易去作出冒犯。
And so, as we are just practicing devotees, we can't even taste the holy name yet. So why are we thinking we are better than someone else?
我哋即係仲係收集緊，我哋仲未嚟講係品嚐緊 Krishna 嘅聖靈嘅味道喺度啊。咁點解我哋覺得我哋自己比啲人更加好，比其他人更加好咧？
Just like all this information we are giving and sharing, this information is not mine, it's Prabhupada's.
咁好似譬如而家我俾出呢啲咁嘅條文嚟講咧，想分享啲條文嚟講，唔係我自己講出嚟，唔係我就即係拋講出嚟。
So I present it in a certain fashion in my own way, but then someone else can come next year or next week and give even a better presentation.
咁而家我以咁嘅一個形式嚟講咧，係呈現喺你哋面前嗰度咧。咁或者下個星期嚟講，有啲人更好嘅方式係呈現俾你哋睇。
And my position should be, wow, that's so nice. I want to know how you did it.
咁我如果個情況嚟講，我應該就係話啊，你做得更加好喺度啊！咁你點樣去做㗎？
But not like, oh, I think I can still do better. That's not the Vaishnava quality.
咁我哋都講，我咪更加好睇喺度，呢個算乜嘢喺度？呢個唔係奉獻者嘅品質嚟。
Now, this developing of Vaishnava qualities will take time. It's not like overnight, 1 week course and you are a Vaishnava.
呢啲嚟講係需要時間，都唔係話隔一日、第二日就做到，或者上完一個禮拜嘅課程嚟講就馬上係做到。
It's a lifetime of practice.
呢個我哋一生嘅修習。
Yeah. And sometimes you want to make a shape in a metal, you have to shape it around, you have to beat it a lot of time.
咁就好似你將個金屬要係打造成一個模型嗰時嚟講咧，你需要好多下係咁揼啦，係咁揼，係咁揼，係咁揼嘅。
And the blacksmith who's beating is Krishna.
咁呢個鐵匠嚟講咧，就係嚟講就係 Krishna。
And he's shaping us. We cannot see, but we go through difficulties because he's shaping us to be a nice vessel, ready to accept the mercy of Krishna.
咁其實佢打造緊我哋喺度，打造緊我哋一個更好一個花瓶嚟講咧，係接受 Krishna 嘅人前。
Okay. But if people have big false ego, what can you do?
咁如果一個人有好大嘅假我嚟講話自我假我嚟講，咁我哋都冇辦法。
When we see someone is not following nicely, we pray for them.
咁如果我哋見到啲人嚟講，可能佢係收集跟隨得唔係咁好嚟講咧，我哋之後可以為佢係祈禱。
Our prayer should be, Krishna, help this person become a good devotee.
咁我哋禱文嚟講咧，就係向 Krishna 禱告，希望 Krishna 幫佢成為一個更好嘅奉獻者。
We shouldn't pray, Krishna, let this person fall down.
我哋唔應該講嚟講禱告就話，呢個人快啲係落嚟啦。
Yeah, if you do that, then it's a selfish thing.
當我哋咁做嚟講，其實係好自私嘅行為，
It's not Krishna conscious.
唔係 Krishna 知覺嘅，
It's not Vaishnava conscious.
唔係我是我嘅意識知覺。
Okay. All right. So that's it. We'll meet tomorrow. Is it? No, Friday.
Friday.
Friday we will meet again. Yeah.
咁我哋星期五會再上堂，
Lessons learned on Friday.
係第7課嘅星期5。
Okay? Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki.
係第7課嘅星期5。